Shalom, shalom. This video is the prophet portion for Parashat, for Yom Kippur, the Mohad of Yom Kippur. The year is, on the Hebrew calendar, is 5786, and the prophet portion is from Isaiah. It's chapters 57 and 58. It actually starts 2/3 through chapter 57 on the 14th verse and all of Isaiah 58. It's peculiar that the Yom Kippur portion would start 2/3 through Isaiah's song for the removal of every stumbling block for the coming of the Messiah. So I want to invite you to read from the first verse of Isaiah 57. The first two verses is absolutely fascinating. Isaiah 57 verse 1 is all about Mashiach, the Messiah. The righteous one perishes, but no one takes it to heart, it says. It's an allegation against all humanity who either blatantly disregard or even scoffs at Yeshua, the Messiah's death on the cross. By his death, Isaiah goes on to say the righteous man is taken from evil. The righteous man, the believer in the Messiah, is rescued from the clutches of evil by the death of the righteous one. And then Isaiah goes on to say the righteous man enters into shalom. In this, we can see that the Messiah is the Yom Kippur goats, both of them. He is the sin offering as the one that is carrying the nation of Israel's sin away into the wilderness, into oblivion. But he's also the goat of Adonai who sacrificed to the glory of Adonai. And then if we read on in Isaiah 57 still, verse 3 to 13a, we read about the unrighteous, and then the text returned to the righteous midway through Isaiah 57 verse 13 in the B part. And then we come to the Yom Kippur scriptures that specifically starts in verse 14, Isaiah 57 verse 14. It clearly refers to John the Baptizer's calling. And it also seems to fit in quite nicely with our time, as many nations are currently hell-bent to place stumbling blocks into the way of Adonai's chosen people, Israel. The text there says, prepare the way for the Lord, for the coming of the Lord. It actually, the Hebrew text means to pave the road even, not only to remove stumbling blocks. Regarding them, the chosen of Adonai, which is the nation of Israel, Isaiah 57, if you skip a few verses to verse 20, 21, verse 20 and 21 talks about their enemies who's putting stumbling blocks in the road for Israel. And that is all the United Nations, people who walked out, for instance, a week ago when Bibi Netanyahu gave a speech there. And the other nations who stayed, but who are recognizing and rewarding terrorism with statehood. For them, Isaiah 57 verse 20 and 21 says, they will have no shalom, they will not have peace. And that certainly is the choice they made, that's the reward they will reap. Adonai promised to heal the righteous, to restore and to comfort him. In the singular, of course, Yeshua, he was restored and comforted, but also the nation of Israel. We also, that is in verse 18 and 19 of Isaiah 57. And that is what Yom Kippur is all about, the atonement of the righteous person. And the text says both near and far. Near, the righteous person near refers to Israel. The righteous person far refers to the Gentile believer in the God of Israel. And then over the chapter in Isaiah 58 verse 1, all believers are commanded to testify to Adonai's chosen people of their transgression. Even though the house of Jacob sees him day to day, their blindness opened the door for Gentile believers. But now, thank God, Baruch Hashem, their eyes are opening and they're beginning to recognize their Messiah, and a sure sign that we are at the end of time. In Isaiah 58 verse 3 to 5, Adonai describes the sin of missing the mark in Yom Kippur fasting. He says it primarily to Israel, but also to each one of us, that fasting does not compensate for our hedonistic lives and strives. And then we find the guidelines in Isaiah how to keep Yom Kippur and how to keep the fast. And that is in Isaiah 58 verse 6 to 14. And this, when you come to the gospel portion, you'll see how closely it fits. It almost reads exactly the same. He says, to release the bonds of wickedness we have over others in our personal dealings with them. Also to untie the cords we bind others with when we have grievances against them. And to break the yokes, the heavy burdens we place on other people because of the unforgiveness in our own hearts towards them. And to let the people whom we oppress go free. To stop making false allegations to our fellows. That's Isaiah 58 verse 9 actually. And to share our bread with the hungry and to provide shelter for the homeless. To cover the naked. To reach out to our families and friends. To make peace where there's unpeace or unfriendliness between us. And to keep the Shabbat, to keep Sabbath holy. That's Isaiah 58 verse 13. These are what Adonai said to Isaiah to write is how you should keep Yom Kippur. Then he said, your good name, your good reputation will precede you wherever you go, and the glory of Adonai will be your rear guard. Then Adonai promised your prayers will be answered. In fact, he said your call to Adonai, your prayer will be answered by him by saying, Hineni, here am I. And we read many places in the Bible that God calls people. He calls Moses, and Moses answers, Hineni. He calls Isaiah, Isaiah answers, Hineni. But here, if you keep Yom Kippur according to the prescription here, it's not only the fast, it's a fast with all these other spiritual matters, then Adonai will be the one who answers, Hineni, here am I, when you call to him in prayer. Then Adonai will guide you, give you the water of life to drink, and he will bless you with good health. It's a promise that you can stand on. Remember that Elohim created everything by speaking it into its existence in the creation week. In Isaiah 58 verse 14 we read his promise that he already spoke these blessings over us when we delight ourselves in him. And that is also in Yom Kippur, and that's why Yom Kippur is not only a fast but also a feast. In Isaiah 58 verse 10 and 11 we read how Adonai set Yom Kippur example for us to follow through Yeshua the Messiah as he gave himself to us who are hungry. Remember, each time we partake in the communion, we break the bread and we say this is his body broken for us, and we eat it. And on Yom Kippur, we also are called during the fast to remember Yeshua's sacrifice when we are hungry. His sacrifice, I mean the day on which he was crucified on the Passover. He had the Last Supper the day before, and then he was keeping the fast of the firstborns, which links to the 10th plague in Egypt, by not eating on the day of his crucifixion and death. And this is what we should contemplate when we fast on Yom Kippur and the hunger pangs are gnawing at us. In this, it's quite obvious that the Passover and Yom Kippur are linked together like two sides of the same coin, and I explored that a little bit more in the Torah portion on Yom Kippur. I pray that in this Mohad, that Adonai Eloheinu will bless you and keep you, that he will shine his face upon you and be gracious to you as he promised here in Isaiah 58, and that he will provide for your every need, and that he will give you shalom. Shalom, shalom.